morning, good evening, good afternoon, fellow viewers from wherever you are watching this video from. Today we are going to be working on the English Glorious Revolution in world history from 1688 to 1689. What is a revolution? We are supposed to know what a revolution is all about. We are talking about a revolution that occurred in England from 1688 to 1689. Therefore, we should look at a revolution. A revolution, we can define it as a violent or a sudden change in government. A violent or a sudden change in government. Now, our topic here, we are looking at the revolution that occurred in England between 1688 to 1689. This revolution was faced by James II. James II came to power in 1685 after succeeding his brother Charles II, who died. Charles died, and James, who was the Duke of Yorktown, came to power. And when James came to power in 1685, after 3 years' time, James carried out some policies, especially religious policies, that helps to gather the people of England against him. This revolution, it was more of a religious one because James came to power and has to change England to a Roman Catholic nation. Before coming to power, James was a Catholic, and the people of England never loved Catholicism or Catholic Christian. So during the day of coronation of James in Westminster Abbey, James made it clear that even though he was a Roman Catholic, he was going to rule England as an Anglican state. The people of England wanted the Anglicanism or Protestant and not Catholics, but they accepted James to rule them as a Catholic leader, with the reason that James had to promise to rule England as an Anglican state and not as a Catholic state. But when James came to power 3 years after, he carried out policies that were against the people of England, and the people have to carry out a revolution against him from 1688 to 1689. Now, we are going to look at the causes of the Glorious Revolution in England, where in most cases we will be dividing them into two sets of factors. We have political and religious factors. But among these factors that contributed to the outbreak of the English Glorious Revolution, the most important one were the religious factor. We are going to examine political factors for the revolution in England, and then now we'll enter into the religious factors. The first factor that we are going to look at, or the first reason under political, we talk about James' tyrannic and autocratic rule. What is a tyrant? A tyrant is somebody who wants to use force and rule people. A tyrant is somebody who believes nobody should oppose him. A tyrant is somebody who will see everything to fight against his people. So when James came to power, he became a tyrant. James believed that any opposition to him was tantamount to rebellion. Anybody that wanted to oppose his policy, he was supposed to fight that person. As if that was not enough, being an autocrat, James has two powers that he was using. He was using dispensing powers and suspending powers. When we talk about dispensing powers, James, dispensing powers means he ignores certain acts of parliament, and when we talk about suspending power, means he suspends this act of parliament. Those were the two powers that James was using to rule the people of England as a tyrant. And James further believed in the divine right of king, where he sees himself as being ordained by God to rule, and so anybody that wants to oppose him, he was going to rebel against that person. reason. And because of this, the people of England were not happy with the leadership of James II. They have to revolt against him. The second political reason for the outbreak of the English Revolution against James, we talk about the creation of a standing army. In November 1687, James made it clear that the English army was not sufficient to maintain internal security as well as external security in England, and so we needed to increase the size of the British soldiers to 30,000 soldiers. This was hated by the people of England because the idea of creating a standing army in England in time of peace was not well welcomed by the people of England. They felt that with the creation of a standing army, one, he was going to increase the taxes of the citizens so as to pay the salaries of this army, so as to provide the equipment for these soldiers. And most importantly, the people of England hated the creation of a standing army in time of peace by James because he reminded them of the naked rule of the sword. Naked rule of the sword that was once imposed on them by a leader called Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell ruled England and imposed a military that brutalized the people of England. So when James came up with the idea of creating a standing army in time of peace, the people of England were not happy. He brought them back to memory lane in the days of Oliver Cromwell, and because of that, the only way was to carry a revolution against James. The third political reason for this revolution, we talk about vindictive cabinet reshufflement. When we talk about a reshufflement in cabinet, we are simply referring to a change in ministers, a change in government. James carried out cabinet reshufflement, changing ministers at any moment that pleases him, which was not welcomed by the people of England. James dismissed ministers that were critical of his policies and appointed those that were mostly his friends. Because of that, the people of England were not happy. We have cases in point where James had to replace Halifax and appointed Sunderland. Halifax was replaced and Sunderland was appointed as Lord President, the President of House of Lords in Britain. This was not welcomed by the people of England. As if that was not enough, James even went as far as dismissing some Tories who were critical supporters of the crown. In England at the time, there were two parties. We have the Whigs and the Tories. The Tories were those who supported the king, while the Whigs, they were like the opposition party in England at the time. So James dismissed Tories who were ministers like Clarendon. We have Clarendon and Rochester, which were ministers, and they were Tories ministers. James went ahead and dismissed them, and because of this, he gathered the anger of the people of England towards him, because they did not see the reason why he should dismiss Clarendon and Rochester when they were Tory ministers that were always giving support to the king. As I earlier said, we said the Whig party was the opposition party, while the Tory was a party that was giving support to the king. So this cabinet reshufflement was also another political reason why the people of England were not happy with James. Again, we move into another political reason. We talk about the birth of the Prince of Wales. This was the immediate cause of the revolution. The birth of the Prince of Wales was on the 10th of June, 1688. Whereby on this day, the wife of James II, Mary of Modena, gave birth. Mary of Modena. On this particular day, she gave birth to a bouncing baby boy called James Edward. James Edward, or we call him the Prince of Wales. This was the immediate cause of the revolution, because before the Prince of Wales or James Edward was put to death, James had two daughters, Mary and Anne. These two daughters, they were not having more powers to succeed the throne as the son. Since this child was put to bed, he was having the upper hand to succeed the throne over the sisters, Mary and Anne. So when the child was put to bed, the people of England received the birth of this child with mixed feeling. They were not happy with the birth of the Prince of Wales, because they felt that this child was going to be brought up in a Roman Catholic doctrine, in a Roman Catholic way by his father, and when the father will no longer be there, the child will succeed the throne and continue with Roman Catholicism in England. And because of this, the people of England have to spread false rumor against the birth of this child, because they wanted to sabotage the birth of the child by spreading rumors that the child was smuggled through a warming pan into the palace or through an incubator, which was false. Another political reason, we talk about this Mamman rebellion, or the suppression of the Mamman rebellion. Charles, the brother of James, was having an illegitimate son, but a Protestant. The child was illegitimate, but a Protestant called the Duke of Mamman. The Duke of Mamman was seen by the people of England to succeed Charles when Charles died. The people wanted him to succeed Charles because though he was illegitimate child, but he was a Protestant and not a Catholic Christian, because the people of England do not want to see a Catholic ruling them. So when Charles died, James fought a revolution against the Duke of Mormon and defeated the Duke of Mormon. When the Duke of Mormon was defeated by who? By James II. The English Parliament sent a letter of congratulation to who? To James II. The English Parliament voted a budget and gave it to James II to maintain the army. James looked at this and looked at the Parliament as a weak Parliament, or a rubber stamp Parliament, because of the appreciation they have given to him. We now look at the Parliament as a rubber stamp Parliament because the Parliament appreciated him. He did not want to take the Parliament serious, and because of that, the people of England has to revolt against him, because to the people, the Parliament was always above the king. So James looked at the fact that the Parliament appreciated him for defeating the Duke of Mormon and thought the Parliament was a rubber stamp Parliament. The last political, we'll be talking about the role of William of Orange in the revolution. Who was William of Orange? William of Orange was the king of Netherlands, who got married to the daughter of James, Mary, the first daughter of James, Mary. So William of Orange had to connect with the important parties in England to send emissaries to England to go and collaborate with the Whigs and the Tories so that they should overthrow James II for him to take over power. Sending an emissary, sending people to go and work with the Tories and the Whigs, because William was a Protestant and hated Catholicism. James was a Catholic and he was working in collaboration with Louis XIV of France, who was also a Catholic. So William contributed in the revolution because he sent an emissary to England to go and collaborate with the parties in England, such as the Whigs and the Tory, so that they should remove James for him to come and rule England. And because of that, he has to escalate and result into the revolution. These are the political causes of the revolution. Now, most often the GCE set questions using these political causes. The GCE book can set a question: the birth of the Prince of Wales from 1688 was the immediate cause of the glorious revolution. Discuss 25 marks. In that aspect, The MP1 of the question, you are going to elaborate on the birth of the Prince of Wales. You can explain that for 10 marks. Then MP2, you bring in other factors, because it was not only the birth of the Prince of Wales that contributed to the English Revolution. In the other factors, you are going to mix some political and religious factors to form your main part 2 of the question. I'm going to be back for the religious causes of the revolution in our next episode. Don't forget to drop your comment in the comment box.